I mean, to be able to say, we don't have all the ideas internally. We don't have, the view on the market that our outside partners and, have. And to open up to what can be and just the ability to draw in the kind of information that we need to make the kind of decisions and innovate, right? I'd love to have you, if you could, apply that back to the customer as our North Star, because how we get information from the customer, we also fail at pretty bad as business leaders, right? And we have to innovate how we do that. Tell us a little bit, like you had talked about, we got to go beyond NPS surveys, right, to get the voice of the customer. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a couple of things. Since you mentioned NPS survey, the worst place you can put an NPS survey is sit with the operations teams, the client services teams, or account management, whatever you want to call them. Because an NPS survey absolutely has to be done by an outside third-party organization is great, but if you're doing it internally with an organization within the company that has no vested interest per se in the specific responses, but a very unbiased approach. One. Two, the verbatims are, if not more valuable than the pure NPS score, because the verbatims begin to trap emotion and sentiment. And I'll digress for a quick second. In our B2B world, we know that decisions are made much more from an emotional perspective than a rational perspective. If I remember right, I think it was a Google CEP Market Leadership Council survey, they talked about how B2B buyers put a lot more credence, I'm paraphrasing, and are much more emotionally connected to their vendors than they are rationally. So bring that back to my point about the verbatims that are, because you'll trap more of the emotion there than you will in the NPS score. That's a simple score. But I think a couple of things that one should do, maybe two or three things. One is for every C-suite executive, whether it's the CFO, the CMO, even the chief HR officer, whoever it is, they should spend some time with customers. They should spend time with buyers face to face. And it can be as easy as, a 2.5 hour dinner event where you have a conversation, because they will each begin to understand how buyers think, where they are, what's important to them. So when a buyer comes and says, listen, you need to cut your price by 10%, you understand where they're coming from, and as a CFO, and you can figure out ways and means to deliver what they need without necessarily eroding your own margin. So I think it's hugely important. One is for every C-suite executive in particular to spend time with customers and across the C-suite. One, face-to-face individual time. Two, one of the other things that I've done really well in my past is establish client advisory boards. But again, you have to go into this with everybody from the company, the C-suite around the company saying, we're going to sit and listen, and we're going to take some punches, right? We might be performing really well with a client. And this has happened. I remember this so vividly. One of our major clients where we were ranked number one, number two performer among 5, 6, 7. Everybody thought that this client would give us a glowing review. And she walked in and she said, here's what you guys are not doing. Boom, 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 boom. It was incredible. On paper, we were number one, number two. We were top performer. We had nothing. We couldn't do any better. But what she was telling us was her emotive feel. Here's what I feel and my organization feels you're not doing well or you can do better. We talked about long-term sustainable relationship, right? She's helping us anticipate her needs today and for the future. So I think these client advisory boards can be hugely important, but I'll underscore it with one very important point, which is what we started this conversation with. You have to be willing to really, really listen.